I'm doing well, Pat. We're getting some amazing weather here in California. Unseasonably cool for this time of year. We are headed into a little bit more heat, though, as we get further on into the summer. But it's been quite enjoyable here, I have to say.
Mm.
How about Florida? How's the iguana harvesting going?
Well, first I want to say I'm not happy with you taking all of the cool weather. It is hot and muggy. Not that I'm complaining. It's always better than snow. That's what I tell myself every day. Iguana business is great. The mating season is over, and we are very busy. Ended up getting a new client down south, and the first time I was there, 24 iguanas, 215 pounds of iguana meat.
Holy cow.
It was crazy. It was a lot of work. I found out how out of shape I was from the winter season here. But it was fun. The Iguana Solutions Iguana Challenge was live and recording. It was crazy. You had seconds. It was heads everywhere. It was crazy. It's all done in 15 minutes. It's the cleanup that took an hour. So,
wow.
But other than that, life's good. It's the rainy season. It's fun. And we're here doing another podcast. I'm excited.
Yeah. So if everyone remembers, all of our listeners and viewers, I was battling getting my carbon fiber tube for my yet to be realized tension barrel system on my Mark II Crown. This is something I'm building custom. I'm grafting some parts from FX tubes onto this carbon fiber tensioner. And I ordered this thing like a month ago. It took 4 days, Pat, for that to get from mainland China to America.
Okay.
It's been in U.S. Customs for 16 days. I'm like, guys, what is going on down there in Southern California? And I think it's finally starting to move now. I'm starting to see movement out of LA. So I'm hopeful that by the time we get to the next podcast recording, I actually have some results. But I will say this. The gun right now with my crazy hybrid barrel on it is a half MOA. And that's way better than it needs to be for field target. It's better than I am shooting off the sticks in field target. So, this is going to be just icing on the cake. Would take away any excuse I could have for my gun losing POI or point of aim. And it is it's something that is really going to be fun to experiment with and see how that, a homemade barrel tension solution works on an FX gun. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm still on the fence optic wise. I know initially I was looking at an Athlon optic, and then the Falcons caught my eye because they seem to be one of the only optics that's actually purposely designed for the field target game. It's like if you get an optic that's already optimized for that, it's a lot better than trying to get a powder burner scope in this game. So I'm still working on that angle. But yeah, it's all coming together. I think I'm going to have a really good solution by the time I get to the PA Cup. And there aren't many other contests I can shoot with a 117 where 117 is the advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Yeah.
I mean, maybe some speed events, but even that, you're going to lack that target energy to knock down silhouettes or anything like that. So a lot of speed events are going to be dialed out. But again, this gun is built for a reason. It's built for one particular game. It's not meant to do anything else. So we're still working that. We're still getting there. Now regarding my 800 millimeter tension barrel impact, that's still working. still a work in progress, and I'm still getting it dialed in, but it is progressing very nicely. I'm very happy with the results so far.
Cool. Two very purpose-driven and designed air guns, like we talk about all the time.
Yeah, and very opposite ends of the spectrum. I mean, one's dumping well over 100 foot-pounds of energy, and the other one is capped very carefully at like 19.8 foot-pounds.
Like shooting baby aspirins at 50 yards.
Yeah. I mean, well, my goal is that both can do that accuracy wise. But one is a gun that can be used at 200-300 yards if you needed to. And the other one is not that.
Correct. All right. Well, we have a very exciting episode, everyone. And
we've got not one, but two amazing guests this episode.
Yes. One guy we've chatted about in the past, Bill, and the other one, well, we get to meet him tonight.
That's fantastic. He is from the origin story for Bill. This crew is all East Coast based, and I was born and raised in Danbury, Connecticut, so they're right in the backyard of where my roots are. And in fact, one of the things we're going to be talking about has the word Berkshire in the name. And that is, I have very deep roots in the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts. Every summer from when I was 10 until probably 15 or 16, every summer I was in the Berkshire Mountains for like 2 months out of the year. And it was an amazing experience for a young boy to be lost in the woods up there. And I'm stoked that we might be able to actually attend this thing that shares that name. But we're going to hear more about it from our guests. And Pat, who do we have today?
I'm going to pause right now, Bill, because I just noticed something. Your name says Chief Pellet Pilot, Head Tinker, and so does below. Do you want to fix that before we go?
No, it's fine. We're going to let it go. We're going to let it go.
I know you're the head tinker. I appreciate that. Okay, cool beans. Just want to make sure. All right, well, let's get our guests in. And here they are.
We got Mike Hardy and John Swenson.
I'll ask that.
John today.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, thank you.
Welcome.
So Mike, who are you, and what are your roots in airgunning? Where are you? How do you come by this pellet flying ambition in your life?
Well, thank you for having me on, gentlemen. It's been a great time, as you discussed. We've discussed in the past about linking up at some points. I'm Mike. I'm here in Massachusetts. I'm
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. Initially, I was in the military for 16 years of my life. Made some great friends.
Service, by the way.
Thank you. Made some great friends, and just had that bond with getting with those people and having that family atmosphere. Mm-hmm. I got out, and at one point, I was looking for that, getting back into shooting and getting back to doing that type of stuff. And being here in the Northeast isn't really the easiest place to do it. I stumbled upon YouTube and found a fellow air gunner. You might know him. He's just one of the small fish in the sea, which would be 68 Whiskey, which would be Keith Gibson. Mm-hmm. And he was actually an Army medic as such as myself. We talked about a year and a half, 2 years. I eventually went out to his farm in New York, and I shot with them. So it was Keith and Norm. And from that point forward, I was hooked. I was in it. I eventually found a local airgun shop here in Massachusetts. They convinced me to drive to RMAC in 2022. So I made the trip from Massachusetts to Utah Airguns and RMAC. Witnessed everything and immediately fell in love with this whole entire sport. I worked there for about 2 years, at which point I did take a break, and I was enjoying being unemployed for a little while. And then John from New England Airgun reached out to me and asked me about helping him put together the Berkshire Airgun Challenge. My history and my experience is I worked with the other company, Northeast Airguns, and was a part of the Northeast Airgun Classic. You might be aware of that happened the last 2 years. So I do have experience working with competitions and getting that style of competitions shooting done. And that point forward, John and I have been talking about it, and he filled me in on a lot of his history about his shop and who he is and how he wanted to have a competition. And that's brought us to where we're at now.
Wow.
Very good.
What a journey. What a journey. Again, thank you for your service, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, John Swenson, first time meeting you. Now, you're not the owner of the Swenson Burger Joint, are you?
If I was, I might not be doing this.
No. Well, regardless, your name, easy to remember. John, who is John Swenson? Who are you?
John is very boring. John spends a lot of time working and not a lot of time playing. Basically, spent my whole life in a cubicle behind all the different CAD systems from Bruning CAD that most people haven't heard of, all the way up to SolidWorks and Pro Engineer. Designed a lot of neat things, got a couple patents under my belt for medical devices. Did a couple military devices, top secret stuff I can't talk about. So last project was a 400 patient sampler for what got used for COVID-19. And the airgun thing was something that I got into. If you want to hear about it, it was all my wife's fault, but it was supposed to be a little retirement thing that I was getting ready for and well in advance. And after the last layoff, started into it heavily, and that's where we are today.
Wow.
Excellent. So John, I was actually a customer of yours. I think shortly, I got to say it was probably 20, maybe 15, 16, somewhere in there.
Yeah, near the beginning.
I actually bought a folding stock adapter from you for my Woods Walker. I have an extremely customized Benjamin Woods Walker, and I'm pretty sure I bought my my folding stock adapter from your shop.
You most likely did.
Because I think at the time you were like one of the few people who actually had that available.
Yeah, it's funny because that stock adapter was usually mismarked when it was being sold. And I noticed it, found it, and worked well with the adjustable stock setup. It wasn't my idea. I teamed up with Dave Rensing at RAI, or R Arms Innovations.
Mm-hmm.
And the side folder worked really well for that setup.
So that gun, for a little bit of background, went on to become my rat extermination tool of choice around my farm in both locations, my previous house and this one. It's because I usually, when I'm ratting, I'm working over the dogs. So the dogs are working down low and they're driving the rats out. And when the rats go out, they usually go up the hardware cloth of the chicken coop. And at that point, it's usually really close quarters work. So I don't need a lot of power there. What I need is a really good magazine fed gun that I can work quickly with. And it's so much fun. You feel the energy of the dogs and you get that gun on point, and it's one of your parts that makes that gun so special. And I got I had the special edition Woods Walker with the real tree camo on it.
Yep.
And it drive me crazy that I couldn't get the stock with that same pattern. So I actually had a hydro dip company in Ohio that is licensed for Realtree match the stock to the gun, so it looks totally factory. You wouldn't be able to tell that this wasn't a factory gun. But yeah, that's my tool of choice when it's close quarters rat. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So,
And
so
just to let you know, I actually found one of those camo stocks behind a desk in our rear room the other day. So I have an original camo stock.
That is an AR stock.
No, not an AR stock, but the original Crossman one.
Yeah, I have one of those, but mine is the folder, and I had the AR the M4 stock hydro dipped to match the.
I get it now. I missed that part.
Yeah, no, I love that gun because I can fold the stock and pack it anywhere, and get that. I mean, it's super reliable. It's accurate as all get out. It does everything I needed to do. Now, granted, I'm never shooting that gun in excess of 15 yards because it's not where it's sighted. I have a red dot on it. It is my close quarters rat extermination tool, and it's probably got well over 1,500 kills.
Yeah, perfect tool for that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So John, 2015 you bought. So how old is Northeast Airguns?
New England.
New England Airguns. See, I don't know how many people are going to be doing that because I've talked to some people already, and they're like, New England? I'm like, no. So
yeah, we get lots of confusion because we're both in Massachusetts. The name is really close. The owners have the same name, so
really,
there's been some confusion with all of that.
Correct, and that's what I did because you got to pay attention. It's two different shops, guys. For those that are listening and watching, so make sure when you order from one or the other, both great places, but make sure you're calling the right place.
New England Airgun. Yeah, so, we actually started in 2013 is when we actually incorporated the business, the name and everything. 2014, we finally found a building, and that's where we got started. So about 10 years.
Wow.
And everything that we're doing is in the original 10-year-old business plan. It was the Berkshire Challenge was pretty much there in the beginning. We just couldn't find a place that was able to hold it.
Mm-hmm.
And met up with some guys out at a club in Granby, and they actually had the space, and took them a bunch of years of discussion and whatever, and finally they gave us a call in October and said, hey, we're ready to host your event here. Are you guys ready to do it? And
so just to clarify for our listeners and viewers, John has a brick and mortar store called New England Airgun, and they this year are sponsoring a huge event on the East Coast in October, right, Mike?
Yeah, that is correct.
So people will get to see some New England color the way it's meant to be seen.
We are going to be selling the New England fall foliage with one of the best airgun competitions you could find in the United States. As you mentioned, Bill, it's going to be in October 15th through the 19th, obviously 2025. We are excited to announce that we'll be hosting the 4 major events. So you're going to have bench rest, speed, precision shooter challenge, and big bore. We have 230 acres of land to work with. And I can tell you that Granby Bow and Gun Club is the home of the 1,000-yard shot. That being said, I can't tell you how far big bore is going to be, but I can tell you it's going to be exciting this year. We're going to take everything that we can and really put the skill as well as the ability of each gun to the test for this competition. But again, we're also going to be encompassing the amazing beauty that New England fall foliage does have to offer.
Now, Mike, that might represent a small problem. If you've got 230 acres and we don't have a leash on Pat,
Get lost.
we might never see him again.
I have an electronic dog collar from my old service dog.
Okay.
We'll slap that on there. Put a zip tie on there so you can't get it off. It will be perfectly fine.
Why do you have to go to a dog collar? Why can't you put like an apple pile in my back pocket or something?
I figured that you didn't want one of those little kid harnesses that has like a little teddy bear with a leash.
This has got the training shocky thing
Exactly.
too. I'll have a lot of fun with that.
That's the problem, Mike. Look at that. Conspiracies already. Oh.
Yeah, this is an amazing opportunity, as John was saying. Granby Bow and Gun Club reached out to John, and we had the opportunity to meet with them. Meeting with them, we were able to realize that we can make this happen. They're working really hard with us, step by step, to make sure that their facilities are going to be adequate to what we need. So there's going to be a lot of changes done, but also it's going to be on their time when they're going to have it completed. We've been slowly working with them to ensure that we obviously can host the 200 shooters that we're expecting for this event. We are expecting to have that many there. And we also are excited to announce, and this will be put out now, that we will have over $50,000 in cash prizes, not including the prize that you'll have at the raffle. This is going to be something that was going to be, again, the New England area is going to be proud to be able to host and be able to be a part of. And with New England Airgun hosting it and Granby being the facilitator of it, it is going to be a competition for years to come.
Excellent. That sounds like a heck of a lot of fun. And I'm stoked to possibly get back. I got to confess, I haven't been back to the East Coast in a very long time. I mean, not the Northeast Coast. I get down to see Pat all the time. Pat and I go and chase iguanas around and get up to all kinds of tomfoolery down there. But I haven't been north of the Mason-Dixie line in a long time. So it'll be good to get with my Union brothers.
It's going to be a great time, and just in the fact of the matter of we are going to be having one of the greatest seasons, I guess you could say. That's every Hallmark movie and every postcard is around. It's the fall foliage of New England. We're also going to be in a very historic area of the United States. Springfield Army is actually about 24 minutes away. You have to remember that the actual origin of the United States military and the Army was founded in Salem in December 6, 1636, which came before actual regiments of the 1st under 1st Field Artillery. We have the writing of Paul Revere, and we have obviously the Constitution of the United States with the USS Constitution, I should say, Old Ironsides, sitting in Charlestown, Massachusetts. So with the very historic background that we have, we're excited to bring in Airguns and the community that it has and foster the family environment that it comes along with.
Excellent. So guys, tell us what kind of events you're going to have. What are your shooting disciplines that you're doing? And do tell us whether these are pellet or slug or hybrid events.
So we're going to be doing 100-yard bench rest. That will be pellet only. Obviously, as I mentioned, 100 yards, you'll have your 2 primary cards, so your qualifiers. Then finalists will be made, and that will go to their finals and go from there. Speed will be steel, so we'll have a stop plate to obviously define a winner. That can be pellet or slug, so that is an option for someone if they want to. And then we're going to have precision shooter challenge. That will be slug as well. And that will be going from anywhere, speed can go anywhere from 20 yards all the way up about to 100 yards. Precision shooter challenge will go anywhere from 65 yards out to 330 yards. And then we'll have big bore, which is 142 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. And that goes from 0 yards to, you'll have to wait and see what happens at the competition.
Oh, we're going to trip them up there, Bill. That's some distances. That's precision speed, because I'm a speed guy. That's close speed and distance. Okay.
Yeah, you guys discussed it before. I've listened on your podcast. It is it is, you know, almost like a mixture of speed and precision shooter challenge. We're using, you know, KYLs, and we're using half-inch targets all the way down to or up to any other size above that. So it incorporates being able to engage a target, sometimes from a unconventional shooting position. Towards the finals, we could incorporate some unique shooting positions for the shooters, but it also allows us to see who is the fastest. It is one of the events at the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge that everyone loves to see, and everyone loves to make sure they have their cameras out for, because in the blink of an eye, a match is over and there's just cheering and excitement. Expect the same at the Berkshire Airgun Challenge. We're just going to have it with amazing fall foliage as your backdrop.
Well, I'm hopeful that when you get deep in that range, when you get out towards 100 yards, make those target plates large. Otherwise, this gets to be a really boring event to watch. And it's one of my favorite events to actually view as a spectator. It is so darn exciting to see that happen. But what really distressed me about an event recently that we were at was they had 1/4-inch diameter paddles at 50 yards. And it just stopped there. You know, the whole flow of the contest, people were just sitting there dumping pellets at this little tiny target at a really obscene distance, and it was not as much fun to watch as pure speed. So I'm okay with the range. That's a differentiator that makes it more challenging, but maybe make that plate at 105-inch or something that makes it still about speed, you know, so that you get that really good flow.
So working in the past, working in the past, I worked on the Northeast Airgun Classic. So I've had experience. It's definitely learning where appropriate target sizing should be and the distance for the shooter. One, to keep it challenging for the shooter, but also two, to keep the flow, as you mentioned, Bill, to make sure that we have a continuous flow for shooters to go through. It also keeps the excitement for the people in the gallery. Things start to get lost in the distance a little. So we'll definitely be incorporating some smaller targets, but they might be within a closer reach, and we'll have larger targets out far. In those, it will be maybe a near to far, far to near. So that way, what ends up happening is we can incorporate both large and small targets and continue to have a well-flowing, stage and event in total.
Excellent.
That sounds like fun. All right. So, is there going to be food at this event? Let's talk about the nummies. You like to eat their guns.
Yeah, so there will be a banquet at the end. We are working on finalizing that location. So the banquet will be hosted for all shooters, volunteers, vendors will be there. And hopefully we have two amazing guys from a podcast. We'll see what we can do to get them out there too. At that point, we'll be handing out, the big giant checks for everyone.
My favorite part is the raffle at the banquet.
I'm already getting stuff in right now for it. So it's exciting. That is probably one of the better parts for me, being on this side of it. I don't get to shoot the event, but I get to see everything coming in. I also get to see how everything comes together as an event, and working with John and hearing his input and making sure that it reflects his vision that he had and his plan that he's been thinking about for so long. Putting it together, working with Granby. I kind of explained to both of them that I'm like Michelangelo. You got to give me the 16th chapel so I can paint it, and they're being amazing and helping me with that. And John has been amazing, trying to get everything going and working on his side. And obviously, the shop is there to let shooters come in and purchase things from him. Get ready for the competition. We'll have all the slugs and all the pellets that you'll need, magazines, scopes, anything else. We also have all the targets available at the shop that we'll use for bench rest. So if shooters are interested in purchasing those targets, they can definitely go on the website and pick those up. And that's going to give you an idea exactly what you're going to be shooting at for a 100-yard bench rest.
Okay.
Excellent.
The question I have, since I'm coming from a different state, is can I ship my guns to the Airgun store?
John?
Yeah, we can handle that, make it easier. Yeah. Excuse me, I was just on an airplane and I think I caught some kind of cold.
Yeah, because that was a big thing for me traveling out because I didn't have the luxury of having four wheels and driving all the way to Utah. So having a place that was safe to ship it, because we don't want our guns just going anywhere. So that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, another thing that we're planning on doing, because I saw this at a bunch of the three events that I've been to in my life. There was no ammo available that I saw at these events. And when I traveled with the ammo, there was some issues with it, and it's heavy and everything. So what we did is we put a request form up on the website. So if people want a certain particular ammo, they can put in a request for it. And we're going to try to have that ammo available on site at the shoot, and definitely at the store before the shoot. But we want to have ammo available if people need it so they don't have to travel with it.
So, well, how will they find the registration form? Will we just go to New England Airguns and there'll be a tab, or how's that going to work?
Yeah,
So-
we actually have two websites. We have New England Airgun singular, and then we have Airguns plural.
Okay.
Plural is the store. Singular is our information page, kind of like a 24-hour-a-day brochure, and any information that we have, we put on there. So that site I can put on a registration page, and then it will link to the store for all the purchasing and registration type stuff.
Currently, right now, if you go to the website newenglandairguns.com, there is a tab on the top that says TBAC, so that's Tango Bravo Alpha Charlie 2025. If you click that, it gives you some information about the competition that's coming up. It's going to let you know what we're shooting and what we're going to be presenting. Registration will be opening the first week in July. It's actually coming up at this point. We're being mindful that obviously there's a rather large competition coming up here in the next about 3.5, 4 weeks. And a lot of people are focused on that. Myself, I am as well. So we're going to be getting ready for that. And then when we come home, that will be put out. As John was mentioning, we will have the registration page put up there. And from that point forward, we'll also gather information from the shooters. So it'll be, the shirt, they'll get a shirt, but also anything that they might need for that time. If they do need to ship a gun to New England Airgun, the information will be there in regards to how they can go ahead about and do that and how it should be addressed. So that way, when it does arrive, we are familiar and we're aware that that is going to go directly into the holding area for those shooters, and it will be brought out to Granby for them at that time. If they come in earlier, they're more than welcome to come to the shop, obviously, prior to us closing for the event. Though we will make every effort to ensure that shooters have the easiest transition from traveling from all points across the United States. That is our goal. We also want to make sure that everyone can come and get what they need, obviously, from the shop, and get what they are focused on for the competition and have a great time. So look forward to going on the website as often as possible, looking for updates and information. We'll be always filling that in as soon as possible as anything that comes out.
So
Very
just
good.
remember that's New England Airguns with an S.com is where you want to go, because they do have both. Just for people listening and our visual airgun geeks also here. Okay, so that's cool. They can just go there. So what is the deadline that they would have to have their equipment at the shop for pickup? Because I know, are you guys going to have someone there? Because I know it's a bit of a trip between the retail store and the range. Explain that to everyone, what the requirements would be ahead of time.
So it's going to be the same cutoff for registration. I've done this in the past. It'll be the same cutoff for registration. So everything that will be shipped to the shop must be shipped 2 weeks prior to the beginning of the competition. The competition starts on the 15th, should be there no later than the 14th. Subtract 2 weeks, you're looking at the beginning of October. The reason being is I understand people are going to say, hey, that doesn't give me as much time, and they want to get every single chance they can definitely shoot. We want to ensure that obviously your products, whoever you're using to ship it to us, it makes it to us in time. At that point, we will be able to take them from the shop. If you say that you are going to come to New England Airgun because we love to see your smiling face inside the building, that's going to be great. We look forward to welcoming you there. If not, we will bring it out to Granby on a day of check-in on the 15th. Registration, you also annotate to us that you are here to pick up your guns. We'll verify your ID, obviously, so that way we're not giving your gun away to a stranger. And you will have your equipment on registration day or check-in day. You'll have the opportunity to go to the 100-yard bench rest range and zero your rifles and make sure that they're all set, especially traveling from different altitudes. You want to make sure that your gun is going to be working and operating in the prime that it can be. So from that point forward, then the shooters will be responsible for them. If they are shipping their guns, they are responsible for having a return address label presented at the time of intake. So that way, when we go ahead and turn around and get ready to ship them back out, we can put them back in the same boxes, make sure they're secure, slap on that tag, and your gun will be back on its way to its home with the shooter.
Yeah.
Now, I assume that there'll be some way for them to pay for that return shipping.
That would be the same way that you'd pay for when you're going to ship it to us. So whether you use UPS, United States Postal Service, FedEx, DHL, Courier Pigeon, which you might need 6 of them to carry a gun. However you're going to do it, you can purchase the labels offline. You can go to your local postal service, whatever agent you use. And
so what you're saying is it's on the shooter to also create their return shipping label when they originate, because that's I've been in this mentality before, and I know a lot of shooters are. All you're thinking about is get the gun there and then work it out later, which is not something John wants to deal with.
No, and we've had issues in the past. Well, I've had issue in the past, and it does create problems because what ends up happening is, did someone say street, lane, way, place, any of the other extensions in this wonderful world, county road, farm road, route such and such, if that's wrong and your gun now isn't shipped to where it's supposed to be, communication is one of the hugest things, and we don't want to play the game of telephone. So our priority obviously is going to make sure that, we put that label on the correct gun, and ensuring that you're going to make sure that your address is correct. I understand that shooters are going to be very mindful of trying to get out here and be ready to go, and they're in the competition mindset. But we also have to stay focused that is your property, and we want to make sure that your property gets returned to you after you have an amazing time at the Berkshire Gun Challenge.
Perfect.
So now that we've covered getting your gun there, and this has happened to me, Pat has lived through this with me. I get my gun all the way to the other side of the country, and all of a sudden the O-rings in my regulator take a big, huge dump. What does John have to offer for helping a shooter, and what brands do you support, John? And do you have the people there, or at least the parts available for guys like Pat to tear a gun apart and start tinkering? What services are available through New England Airguns?
Well, we can do some repair. We're not actually really set up as a repair shop. We have a lot of variety in products that we sell, but we would have to have a shop equal in size to be able to do repairs and hold all the O-rings and everything that's needed. What we are going to plan to do is, closer to the event, we're going to try to get a large shipment of typical O-rings that we know of. FX, I know that there is a package that I can go out and I can just purchase and have a large quantity. So anything that's FX would definitely be covered. And anything else that we come up with that's common sizes, we'll try to get those all in. So we'll have as good a stock as we can just before the event.
Very good. Now, John, maybe walk us through, because you're talking to the airgun world right now. What brands do you support in terms of sales, and what brands do you support in terms of parts? Because they're very different answers for those two categories.
Yeah, they really are. The guns that we bring in from overseas, where there's no presence here in the United States, we definitely have to support those products. And like we just started bringing in the RTI products, the Mora, the Priest, the Prophet. So we just started with that, so we have to build up some support stock for those because those aren't going back overseas. FX guns, Mike and I have both been trained to repair the FX products, but we need to get more O-rings and common parts in. And New England Airgun was always a lead-free indoor airgun shooting range first. We were a store second. We did online sales third, and repairs were fourth, just before cleaning toilets. So, my background is a design engineer, and I can design it, I can build it, I can make it work. Things that have never been made and worked before. So I'm confident any air gun that I get a hold of, I can usually do a good job on it. And trained in FX, trained in Day State. Most of the others, it's been self-training. So RTI, I actually got to stay with their whole shooting crew and their maintenance crew last year at EBR. And we stripped down a Mora and rebuilt it right there on the table, and that's the gun they competed with. So,
Nice.
Kind of crazy doing that the night before a competition, but they said it's just that easy, so let's go for it.
Very good.
What
So
else?
it sounds like you've got RTI, FX, Day State, right? You're selling those.
Yep.
What about? I mean, those are all I higher caliber in terms of higher end of the scale for air guns. What else have you got in that
Oh,
segment?
let's see. What else do we have? I'm
Crossman,
also
Benjamin,
we
Umarex,
do
Rubin.
everything from low end all the way up, but yeah, the Crossmans, the Gamos. We're also an importer of the Hubin products, and Evanix products.
Okay.
So we touch almost everything that's out there.
Very good.
Definitely need to go on NewEnglandAirguns.com and look over the website. Definitely. God, you guys got a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm hopeful that we can arrange an Airgun Geeks tour of New England Air Guns if we get out that way. That would be a hoot to be able to film that and maybe talk to John right in the store too. That would be pretty cool.
I know a guy that might have some access to the building. I'll see if we can talk to him and we'll work that out.
Well,
his name isn't Guido, is it?
No.
No, our people will talk to his people. Talk to John's people who know Mike's people.
Yeah.
Wait, we got people now, Pat? Is that where all that money went?
We have people. Yeah. Cool.
Are those the same people that tried to come through the window one year?
What was that, John?
Uh,
Are those the same people that tried to come through the window one year?
I can neither confirm nor deny that statement. It's not declassified yet, but we'll have to talk to President Trump. We might know. Wow. Okay. So we covered getting your gun there. We got ammo. We got some basic repairs, so people know how to prepare and handle their own first aid. Will you have air available at the shoot?
We will have air. Yep, we will have air available, as such as every other major shoot that's out there.
Okay.
So shooters will be available to bring their own tanks. We'll have tanks on site as well. We do encourage, checking to wherever you're at, whatever stage you're at, and event you're at. It's kind of like looking for the nearest fire exit. Where's the nearest air tank? We have volunteers on site as well who can bring you air if you raise your hand. Obviously, during a precision shooter challenge style event, can't really bring you in the middle of your match. But obviously, in between, there'll be opportunities for you to get your gun filled or your tank filled. So that definitely can happen. And we'll ensure that. One thing we haven't gone over is definitely staying somewhere. That's a huge part because we want people to come in from all over the U.S. Granby Bow and Gun Club is about 24 minutes northeast of Springfield, Massachusetts, which is one of the largest cities here in Massachusetts. There is ample opportunity to stay there. There's La Quinta, there's a Marriott, there is plenty of other hotels. They also have MGM Grand Casino there. So obviously, if people want to go there, and I'm going to put this out now as I bring it up, you cannot bring any firearms or anything that looks like a firearm onto the property of MGM Grand Resorts. So do not bring anything in there. If you do, I don't know what to tell you because you're going to be in a lot of trouble because the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
is going to be a bad day.
It's going to be a very bad day. But it obviously is an opportunity to go see lots of things there. The casino's there. The Basketball Hall of Fame is there. And if you're into children's novels, it is the home of Dr. Seuss. So you're more than welcome to search that out as well.
Wow. Sounds like there's a lot to do.
It's Massachusetts. There's a lot of things to do and a lot of rules to tell you not to do them.
Well, I know that Massachusetts, because the wife and I went to Boston, and there's phenomenal lobster rolls.
There are some amazing lobster rolls here. So you can get the two styles. And a lot of people try to figure it out, just like chowder or chowda. Sorry. You can get chowder. I say chowder in two different styles as well up here. So it's going to be an amazing event for a lot of people to come. With past events here in the Northeast, a lot of people have made social media content about going literally to the Atlantic Ocean up in Maine or New Hampshire or Boston, getting a lobster roll, getting a bowl of chowder, and experiencing the Northeast at its finest. And with John and New England Airgun, Granby Bow and Gun Club, this is going to be another event that for each year from this point forward, you can mark on your calendar as an amazing time. Great opportunity to see some amazing people and amazing shooters, make some new friends, and a great opportunity, obviously, to maybe win some money.
So just to give a little tribute, because we are in Massachusetts, and I'm going to date myself. I am a big guy who likes to watch Cheers. And with the passing of Norm,
Yep.
I love the theme song, going to a place where everyone knows your name, where everyone knows your name. If you're not even a shooter, show up. Because one, you're going to see the culture, and it's a lot like Cheers. New, old, Norm never left, always in that stool, it doesn't matter. It's going to be like meeting family, like you've known each other forever.
I can attest to that. I drove to RMAC in 2022, was convinced to go. I was not shooting. I went as a spectator. This will be my fourth year driving to RMAC. And it's not even the fact of going to compete anymore. It's just going to the fact that I get to see friends that I only get to see once a year. And I get to hang out with them and enjoy those laughs, like you said, and be a part of a community and a family that is so small and it's so diverse all over the world. I believe last year, our Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, there's 21 different nations, including the United States. Over the 21 nations, it still feels like a small family. And that environment that you walk into is always welcoming. It is like Cheers in our own way.
Yeah. It's so, and I say it all the time. Just go. You'll get to meet the culture of air gunners, and then you get the firearms guys, and they come and they're like, wow. Like first, a couple years ago, Bill and I were at RMAC, and there were firearms guys shooting. They were PRS guys on the 22 long rifle side, and they're watching, and they're like, did he just let him borrow his gun because yeah. And they're in the middle of the competition. Obviously can't shoot at the same time, but he shot two after him. what's going on here? You know, it was just, they were just shocked because it's about friendly sportsmanship. It's about fairness. It's about just having fun. Now here at the Airgun Geeks, our motto is, number one, have fun. Number two, don't come in last.
Yeah. So anybody can be an honorary member of the Airgun Geeks shooting team by adopting our two very simple mottos. Have a good time and don't come in last. But even if you come in last, we'll let you slide because you'll be right next to me.
Hey, you're well, I'll leave it first place, yeah. But still, you had fun. You learned, and that's probably the biggest takeaway that I tell everyone. What did you learn from this heat, this competition, this whole event? What did you take away from this? And then learn and do that next, and don't do that next year. You know, what's the saying they always say in field target, Bill? Well, if you're a better shooter, you win this, or you would have shot better, or you would have won. It's a lot of fun, smart talk. I'll call it that since we're a family show.
If I can put it out there, I try to tell people all the time, don't sit back and not compete because you don't think you have the equipment or you don't think you have the practice in to do it. Just get out there and do it.
Yep.
So many people sit back for too long, or you go to these shoots and you see all this great equipment that they have, and they sit back and say, I can't do this until I have that. And it's like, don't wait. Go to your local shoots. Use a $300 gun. Use a $200 gun. It doesn't matter. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen shooters take Umarex Gauntlet 2s all the way up into the middle or upper end of the pack. So you don't have to have a $3,000 gun to go to this, and it doesn't have to be the perfect gun.
No, Abby Casey shot her gauntlet last year. And did very well.
Exactly the person I was thinking of.
Did very, very well. She came to Northeast as well, and she shot it as well and did very well.
Yep.
I think that the main thing I always tell people is, don't be shy. Get out, ask questions. It's not going to hurt you to ask some questions, and it's obviously not going to hurt you to just come watch. And then from that point forward, you get the opportunity to learn from some of the best people. That's how I did it. Sent Keith a text message on a million years ago, and then him and I ever since then. I talked to him today. We're joking around. I'm actually going to pick up his guns. They might show up all together. We don't know. RMAC, I have to go pick up his guns and verifying an address. We're just joking around about how great it's going to be to see each other. And then literally it's like a light switch turns on, where we're on the line. And I walk by him and mutter some encouraging words of advice to him, and he does the same back to me, and then after we laugh and have a great time, and if we're not shooting at the same time, I'm right behind him looking through his spotting scope and watching his card, just because it's about being there and enjoying the atmosphere with the people that are there.
Yep, very true, very true. Now, do either one of you gentlemen have a sentiment you'd like to share with the airgun world before we wrap this up today? Mike, I'll pick on you first.
I don't know if I do. I think I've kind of wrapped everything up. I think my main thing here is my job is to ensure that everyone has a great time and everyone walks away feeling like they're a part of something that they want to come back and be a part of again. I want New England Airgun to be successful. I want Granby to show off their amazing land that they have. And I really want to just showcase here in the Northeast and the New England area that airguns are a sport that is continuing to grow, has a family atmosphere to it, and is always welcome to anyone that wants to go. I went down to a local Precision Rifle Series match this past weekend, shot at my airgun, and I had more questions about that airgun, and there's another airgun shooter there, than anyone else could ever imagine, and it turned into a show and tell. And that's part of it, is just the fact that we can go out and compete against some of these rifles that are traditional powder burners, and we get people that come in. I just sent a text message to someone else right before this interview. He wants to come take a look at a DRS Tactical because they look amazing. just the opportunity to invite more people into the sport is an exciting and amazing part for me to be a part of.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. How about you, John?
What I can think of right now is just get out there, and it's stealing a saying from someone else, but just get out there and do it. The shooting sports is something that almost all of us can do.
Mhm.
I even had a guy who was legally blind who was in our range shooting like everybody else. Not really. He was just holding the gun up and pulling the trigger with the gun pointed somewhere.
That's what Pat does.
And like one of my workers says, hey, he has accuracy through volume.
Mm.
So eventually he might hit the bullseye.
Yeah. I like
machine gunner's theory right there, accuracy through volume.
But just get out there and do it and have fun with it. And it's doesn't matter what your equipment is. My actual first match, I had a Crossman nitro venom break barrel sitting next to two guys with $3,000 to $6,000 worth of guns in their hands. And guess what? I had nearly identical scores to them.
Dang.
So I took a 5-second shot and I knocked down a target at 55 yards away through a 3/8 hole. Cock it, load it, shoot it, pull the trigger, buzzer goes off, target goes down.
Wow.
And the gentleman who was the pro who was with me, he had the similar situation. He had 11 seconds, and I'm like, dude, 11 seconds, you're going to try it? He goes, I could never do that. I'm like, 8 seconds, you're going to try it? And he did, and he hit the same shot. In his life, he has never attempted something like that. So just do it. Just attempt it. Doesn't matter what your equipment is. Doesn't matter how much practice you've had. Just get out there and do it.
Excellent.
Yeah, in closing, so again, I'm going to shamelessly plug it. It's the Berkshire Airgun Challenge, October 15th through the 19th, 2025. Go to newenglandairguns.com, click on the tab. You'll see the information. Registration will open first week in July. There will be the pro division and the sportsman division, or the amateur division. So there'll be two different divisions. So if you are a new shooter, please come shoot. You're not going to be shooting against those pros. You're going to have a great opportunity. Look forward to seeing everyone there. Look forward to seeing you guys there. And I'm very excited that we could be here with you guys today.
I'm going to set up myself. And with that, don't forget, stay geeky.